Okay, so we are here at the Costa Rica compound. Let's go into the studio and I'll show you a little bit behind the scenes, tell you why we built this place and the importance of what this studio actually is. So come along. Now, this chair seems like an arbitrary chair, but this is the thinking chair. I think every place needs somewhere that you can go to just think and that doesn't have any real distractions. When you sit in this chair, you get to take in all of this beauty. So that's what I do. I sit here in the mornings, I look out here, whole entire view of all this coastline. It is gorgeous. We get to be in the recording studio and we get all this energy out making music, and they can hop right into the pool or go right down to the beach and go surfing. And it really gives the ability to have this freedom while recording that you can't do at other places, especially not when you're in the city. Here's where the magic is made. One of my biggest intentions and one of my biggest dreams was to build a recording studio away from the matrix, meaning get out of the big cities that I've been living in. I started to meet travelers from all around the world and realized that when you get away from the intense programming, you have the ability to become more of yourself, to become back to where you originally were meant to be, mentally, physically, spiritually. Let me give you a little insight of what can help you, quote unquote, manifest. So let's talk about how to create the world you want or create the life that you want. What I've noticed, and this is from tons of studying and talking with tons of experts, it takes about 6 years to get you from the initial thought to a place of stability, and especially if you're looking for financial security. It's going to take about 6 years to get you from the idea of, I want to be, let's say, a successful musician, or I want to be a successful producer or songwriter. From that point you think it, and you act upon it, for it to be fully capable for you to live and exist in a secure fashion, it usually takes about 6 years. Now, most people have heard of the idea of a 10-year overnight success. The reason why you've heard of it is because it's true. There's a lot of people in the music industry who've worked for about 10 years behind the scenes, and you don't hear of their names. You never hear of them in mainstream. And all of a sudden, they pop out in the world, and everyone's like, oh, look at that new artist. And then you don't realize they've been doing this for 10 years. Now, 10-year overnight success is a normal thing, but you can get into the industry and get to a certain financial secure place within 6. The reason why that's important, there's a thing about adrenaline that runs through your body that most people don't know about. If I get really hyped up and I say, I'm gonna do something big, it's gonna be like this, and I write it down, that adrenaline starts to create around my body. That adrenaline will last for 48 hours. It's the reason why in January of every new year, there's tons of people who go to the gym. Everyone's gonna get in shape. And then usually by March, it all falls down. If you look at any gym membership revenue, you notice it drops down around March. It's because the adrenaline that person had in their body is not consistent anymore towards their goal. You have to keep that adrenaline going by keeping the vision focused on what you want. So if you're really focused towards something, that 48-hour adrenaline is gonna rush out. So you gotta make sure in 2 more days, you have something else you're excited about. And that could be a mantra. Maybe you have a vision board. Maybe you do some sort of exercise or activity that keeps you focused on that goal. But I highly recommend remembering that adrenaline is going to leave your body if you don't have constant incentive. So the reason why you do something, your why, has to be big enough to constantly drive you. If your why is just, I want to date someone hot, or I want to drive a fancy car, that's not a big enough why to create constant movement for 4 to 6 years. It's not gonna be there. You gotta find something that moves you more and that's truly aligned with what you find intentional, whatever that is, but it's gotta be something that's really moving. So once again, it's normally gonna take 6 years to be fully secure. But to manifest whatever it is that you're talking about, it usually takes 2 years. Meaning 2 years to go from, I had this idea and now I'm actually seeing it come into my life in a real way. Not just, oh, I got an email from an old friend and they work at a real estate company. I just talked about becoming a real estate agent. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about to where you have an idea that's bigger than yourself, that's hard to actually grasp. Meaning 99% of the people out there are not going to achieve this idea. If you have an idea like that idea, if you start to act on it, is gonna take about 2 years to fully develop and embody your lifestyle. to where all of your actions, all of your behaviors, all of your thoughts are aligned with that. And it's no longer an idea, it's actually who you are. It is your identity. It is your skill set. It's your behavior set. It's your mindset. That normally takes 2 years. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because in the beginning, when I was trying to start my music career, or when I was trying to find business partners, I would tell people what I wanted to work on. In the beginning, a lot of people would just look at me like I was crazy. They would look at what I was saying, even though what I was saying was completely logical, and they were only looking at what I had in that current moment. And they were just going, you don't have this, you don't have that. That's what they were seeing. But in my mind, I was seeing the potential. I was seeing the potential energy that could be created. And so that incentivized me. That kept my adrenaline going. That kept me excited. And then what would happen was the things I would say would happen. And I would do more. And I'd do more. And I kept stacking the deck. And usually after 2 years, those same people who told me it couldn't happen were now watching me do it. This has happened so many times in my life. Just today, I got an email from someone else from years ago asking for me to help them do something. That same person years ago didn't want me to help them at that point. They thought bigger producers is what they wanted, because back then I didn't have big credits. So in their minds, they wanted the big producers, they wanted the big songwriters. And I would say to them, no, I can help you with a hit. I can help you. Trust me, trust me. But they didn't want it then. I just got another email today, them saying, hey, are you available? This stuff happens all the time. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because if you're someone who is focused, if you're driven, if you have great work ethic, if you're passionate, you are going to experience the same thing. Because most other people, they can't understand and they can't embody what a visionary goes through. When I say a visionary, meaning someone who can see future, someone who can create in the future and pull it into the present. Most people are not designed to think that way. Most people go to a 9-to-5 job and they're used to getting orders of what to do. So it's like, you're going to do this today and you're going to go do that today. So imagine when you have an idea that's not being told to you, you're creating it. Most people are not used to that thought process. So they're going to shut down and they're going to go, it's not possible. The reason why they don't think it's possible is because they haven't seen it happen for themselves. That's a reflection on them. So what I'm saying to you is if your mindset is focused, if you're passionate, if you're hardworking, take 2 years to develop the habits, the skill sets to put you above 90% of the people in that field. So if you're a music producer or a songwriter, I guarantee if you study hardcore for the next 2 years, you're going to be way more advanced than most people who call themselves musicians. Now, once that 2 year passes and you have big visions, meaning hard to grasp things, keep going and keep going. And I guarantee around the 6 year mark is where you're going to embody something that you're going to be at the very, very top of that field. And in that field is where all the creme de la creme things come from. It's when all the opportunities are massive. It's when the ideas that you're working with other people are way past what you thought you could have done on your own. That's when the investments are bigger. That's when the impact is bigger. Now, if you take that 6 years and turn it into 10, we're talking about a whole entire life. And the reason why I'm saying this is because most people don't talk about building generational wealth for their family. I don't know what that's about, but I'll walk into someone's house and I'll see all these things in their house. They got the fancy cars, they have the nice leather couches, they got the flat screen TV in every single room. But at the same time, when I consult them on their music, they're like, nah, man, I'm broke. I'm living, month to month. And I'm looking around the house going, but you have a BMW out there that you have, oh man, but yeah, I paid monthly on that. And I'm like, but why are you paying all this money for things today rather than setting yourself up tomorrow? Because I've done consultations where I've literally walked around the room with certain artists. I'll say, go into your closet, and she'll show me all of her clothes and all of her handbags and all the makeup and all of this and all that. And I'll say, how much is all this stuff worth? Thousands of dollars. I think generational wealth needs to be taught amongst musicians, especially amongst creative types, and not trying to live like you're already there before you are. Many, many years, I ate peanut butter and jelly. I slept on couches. I was okay with that because I knew that there'd be a bigger thing ahead if I just took time, if I saved, if I studied, if I worked around the right people who are trustworthy. These things will come. And I think a lot of times we try to create the image that we're already successful before we are. And that tends to remove the actual work that's needed, the actual mindset that's needed, the preparation that's needed, the focus that's needed, the savings, that's all these things that are imperative to build a truly successful life. A lot of people, I think, are shortcutting themselves by not doing them and by just creating the image of them doing them. So for anyone out there, use this model. If you have an idea, think of it. Okay, 2 years of skill set, behaviors, patterns, 6 years to fully embody it, and most likely by 10 years, you change your life, which then changes your generation's life. And that's when things get really interesting. Thanks for hanging out with us in this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts, and I'll comment to you in the comment section below. Talk soon.